I know that you just want to get cast more regularly. How much more relaxed would you feel as an actor if you knew you had a steady stream of acting work lined up? Well, that's what today's episode is all about. I'm going to be sharing with you the two things that make getting cast take so much longer, because I want you avoiding these things so you can actually get cast quicker. You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, unknown actors with me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And for the last 13 years, I've been taking unknown actors with blank CVs all the way to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps and stage plays around the world. And every week I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid working unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready to dive into the episode? Welcome to another juicy episode of Unstoppable Actors. If you are brand new to the podcast, welcome. It is so good to have you here. And if you're a regular listener, thank you so much for tuning in. Just like Ryan, who is a regular listener, who reached out to me on Tuesday via our DMs on Instagram. He said, "Hi Louise, just wanted to say absolutely loved your episode you released tonight on Spotify. I've been feeling really against myself today as a lot has been going on recently. Not to do with acting, and I think I was stressed about everything being perfect." Thank you so much, Ryan, for sending in that lovely feedback. I absolutely love hearing from you all, and I'm always so happy when I know that the episodes are helping you. And the one that is referring to is the one before this. So after you've listened to this episode, you might want to go to the next one and listen to that, because that's the one that Ryan absolutely loved. Now, before I do dive into today's episode and share with you the two things that are making getting cast so much harder, I don't know whether you know this, but I've got a brand new method acting workshop for you, which is taking place on Saturday the 8th of June, and it is completely free of charge. I highly recommend you get a place in it if it is a top priority for you to be really bringing your A game with your performances. Because when you bring your A game with your performances, not only do you feel more confident and assured, you know what you're doing. So your performances become effortless and seamless, and that rubs off. What that does is that shows you as a true pro, even if you're quite new to acting. And this is what casting directors want to see. Now, we're going to be diving into some method acting exercises that barely any actors know about, which is such a shame, which barely any actors are using, which if they did use, it would completely transform their acting skills and their character connections. And what it's going to do is not only is it going to bring more authenticity and truth to what you're doing, but it's going to allow you to connect to your scene partners on such a deep level that you are creating sizzling screen chemistry, and that chemistry between the two of you pops out through the screen. The workshop is called Red Hot, Create Sizzling Screen Chemistry, even if you just met, and it is a method acting workshop to make your on-screen relationships believable to casting directors, because we want them casting you and casting you more regularly. So as I've already said, it's Saturday the 8th of June, 4 p.m. till 6 p.m. UK time, which is 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. New York time, and 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. European time. You can be from anywhere around the world to join. It's practical, it's hands-on. We're going to be getting down and dirty into method acting. You've got a script, and we're going to be seeing how we can make these character connections between you and the other characters and you and the character you're playing red hot. So all you need to do to grab your free place is type this link into Google, bit.ly/red hot screen chemistry, all in lowercase. If you don't want to type it into Google, I've left it underneath the episode for you, so you can just go and click that. So shall we dive in then? Shall we find out what these two things are that are making getting cast take so much longer, so you can be aware of them and avoid them? Well, the first one is getting stuck inside your head. I have coached actors for over 13 years, as you will know from the introduction on this podcast, and this is the biggest challenge that actors have. And it doesn't matter whether they are brand new. It doesn't matter whether they've been at this for a while. It doesn't even matter if they're returning from a break or they've been getting cast regularly. Getting stuck inside your head is what is known as mental tension. and it affects all actors. Lee Strasberg called it the occupational disease of the actor, and I absolutely agree with him. So what you've got to remember is the action is not happening inside your head. The action is happening in the space around you. When you're in your head, it leads to lifeless, emotionless performances. And there are 5 things that you need in scenes. You need vitality, you need sharpness, you need clarity of expression, the scenes need to have intensity to them, and they need to be vivid. And when you're in your head, this doesn't happen. This actually makes you retreat from the scene. It stops you creating. It stops you being a creative. It stops you creating the character. It stops you living through it. It stops you creating their reality. It stops the character evolving. And then it also stops your scene partners being able to connect to you as well, because you're simply in a bubble when you're in your head, and we've got to burst that bubble. The second thing that makes it far longer for you to get cast is not making a connection to your scene partner. So when you're not making a connection to your scene partner, what you're usually doing is you're just focusing on your lines and how they should be said and whether they sound real. You're focusing on whether you're able to generate emotion or not. And actually acting is an interactive art. It's something you do with someone else. It's not something you do by yourself. Even in monologues, you are still creating the reality of the monologue, and that reality is outside yourself. So when you're not creating a connection to your scene partner, you're missing chemistry. And chemistry is needed in all scenes, not just ones where there's romance. We wrongly assume chemistry just means a romantic connection to someone, but it doesn't. Chemistry is another word for connection. So you can have chemistry in platonic relationships. You can have chemistry in relationships with family members. But if there's no chemistry there, nobody believes the relationship is genuine. So I'm going to give you an example, 2 different examples of chemistry. So you can have chemistry in a relationship maybe where you're playing a parent figure and then you've got a child. And it doesn't matter how old that child is, but you have to still create a chemistry with them. Remember, chemistry is another word for connection. If you don't, if you feel awkward around children, or you've got no experience of interacting with children, the chemistry isn't there. The chemistry is dead. It means the connection between the 2 of you has been severed. There isn't a connection. So it becomes mechanical. The acting is mechanical, and when it's mechanical, there's no life in it, there's no feeling in it, there's no depth, there's no truth. It's surface level, and it's just going through the motions. But chemistry allows you to create a unique connection with your scene partner, no matter who they are. So let's just say you're playing either a mother or a father, and they've got a child, and that relationship is not just going to be one thing, is it? Relationships are always nuanced, they're complex, there's depth to them, there's layers. So let's say this is a good relationship you have with this child. So there's a little bit of playful banter there. And then there's also this inspiration because you want to be the parent that inspires this child. And then there's also affection and love, because that would be the reality of a healthy parent-child relationship, wouldn't it? But if you're in your head and you feel awkward about this, that relationship doesn't have that chemistry because your thoughts are blocking the connection. And that's mental tension, which I spoke about earlier, because the other thing that I mentioned that makes getting cast take far longer is getting stuck inside your head, which is mental tension. Every acting problem that you will ever come across will always have its roots in mental tension. Let's take another relationship. Let's say you're playing a police officer and there's a scene with another police officer. And let's say the circumstances of the relationship are that you have worked together previously in another job. Right now, you're both in the police force and there's a promotion going. And you're both going for it. But let's say you feel a bit stiff around this other actor. Maybe they've got more experience than you. So it's leading you to those mentally tense thoughts. Maybe, and this is a thing that can happen, and it has happened with actors, maybe the other actor is really good looking and you just can't move past it. Maybe you don't feel as good as them. Maybe you feel self-conscious about yourself. Whichever one of these scenarios it is, and this is not an exhaustive list, there's way more than that, but whichever one of these scenarios it is, you are internalizing everything, and that's taking you back to mental tension. So the chemistry that's required to create the truth of this relationship, to finding that competitive edge between the two of you, it can't be found because you're stuck in your head. So we never get the truth of that. That means the scene falls flat. It means there's no energy to it. It's not clearly expressed. It's not vivid. It's not full of vitality. It's not intense. It's not clearly expressed. Those 5 things that you need in the scene. Staying stuck in your head, as I've mentioned now for the 3rd time, is mental tension, and it blocks chemistry. And I'm going to repeat it again because it's so important. Chemistry doesn't just have to be romantic, but what chemistry does require of you is for you to be relaxed. You can't be relaxed when you're inside your head, and that will take you so much longer to get cast. So there's 3 things that I really need you to do. And if you follow this advice, you'll start to breathe life into the relationships that your character has with other characters, and you'll start to find the truth. And then what's going to happen is you're going to start to create a chemistry that's electrifying, that pops through the screen, or is that lightning rod to the audience if it's stage work you're doing. So the first thing I want you to do is, number 1, take the other actor off that pedestal you've put them on. And if you're internalizing things and you're being self-conscious, pull yourself out of that self-conscious ditch you've got yourself in. Put you and the other actor on a level playing field. Because what you don't know is what challenges that other actor is having in their acting career. You don't know how long they've been training for. You don't know whether they're even happy in their acting career. You don't know what goals they've set for themselves and whether they're achieving them or not. You literally have no idea. When you are putting another actor on a pedestal and you're putting yourself in a self-conscious ditch, you are literally creating stories in your head. And there's usually no evidence to say that these stories are true. So put yourself on a level playing field. Number 2, stop letting your thoughts control you. Just stop doing it. Recognize when they're there and then redirect your focus somewhere else. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you'll know about the method acting triangle. At the top is relaxation, on the side is concentration, and on the final point is imagination. You can't redirect your focus if you're not mentally relaxed. So you get mentally relaxed by recognizing, oh, I'm inside my head and I'm letting my thoughts control me. And when you're mentally relaxed and you've noticed that, then you redirect your focus somewhere else. And this would be where you would use very strong method acting exercises to immerse in to move you away from that mental tension. So that would be things like character activities. It would be things like the exercise, Tell Me Who You Are. And there are many others. These are just 2 that I'm sharing with you as an example, but these are the 2 that we're going to be covering in the free masterclass on Saturday the 8th of June. Now, I know some of you would really love me to share these exercises on the podcast, but they're practical. You need to see them visually and you need to do them. You need to see how they're done so you can make sure you're doing them right, and then you need to try them out yourself. So the best place for you to get those exercises is in that method acting workshop on Saturday the 8th of June, because I'm going to be coaching you through them for free. And I've left the link underneath the episode for you, as I've already shared at the beginning. So when you've listened to this episode, definitely go and sign up, definitely go and get your free place. The 3rd thing I need you to do is I need you to strengthen your imagination, because when your imagination is strong, your mental tension is weak. And then the character comes to life, and those relationships the characters have are electrifying because there is a genuine chemistry. There's a genuine connection. There's some energetic exchange going on and some emotional exchange going on between you and the other actor. And that becomes fascinating to watch. Now, when you start doing these 3 things, that makes getting cast much more likely for you because you can fully embody the role. And then you can fully embody that connection between you and your scene partner. Many actors are forgetting just how important that connection is to their scene partner in favour of trying to make the line sound real or in favour of trying to generate emotion. But a good scene partner can make those things easier. So it's definitely worth thinking about how you can create that connection using what I've taught you in this episode and being a generous actor, because when you're a generous actor, you're a good scene partner for someone else. And when you're a good scene partner for someone else, they're going to respond to you truthfully. And when you get 2 generous actors together, you create magic. And this is an important part of the audition process, is making that genuine connection. There's an audition on YouTube that anybody can go and see. It's Rachel McAdams auditioning for The Notebook. She's just stood up in a space with a script. I think she's got a script in her hand, actually. Maybe she hasn't. I'm not sure. But she's just stood up in an audition space, and Ryan Gosling is sat at a chair behind a table, is on the casting panel. So there's not the reality of the set to help them with their imagination. There's just these two actors. One sat down on a chair behind a casting table and the other stood up in a casting space. But because they've connected to each other on such a visceral level, even though it's an audition scenario, you really believe they're in love. You really believe there's this whole history between the two of them. And then you can take actors like Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio in Revolutionary Road, not just Titanic, but they have very good on-screen chemistry. And that's because there's a genuine connection between the two of them. And this is important because when we watch actors who can work together in that way, it becomes mesmerising. And you are more than capable of giving mesmerising performances, but you've just got to follow the advice that I've given you in this episode. And then, of course, come and test it out practically. So just as a reminder, the workshop is online. It's free of charge. It's called Red Hot, Create Sizzling Screen Chemistry, even if you've just met. And it is a method acting workshop that is going to make your on-screen relationships believable to casting directors. And I've set this up as a one-off workshop. I'm never going to be running it again, but I've set it up because this is one thing that so many actors are missing in their auditions and in the casting process. They're not thinking about that relationship. And then even if they are thinking about it, they're getting very logical, but they can't get into their heart space and into their emotional space to make that genuine connection. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do it in this workshop. So go and get your place. The link again is all in lowercase. It's bit.ly/Red Hot Screen Chemistry, or just simply click the link underneath the episode. It's an incredible way of taking what I teach you in these podcast episodes to a practical level so you can improve in a hands-on way and obviously get my coaching for free, which is always good. Thank you so much for listening. I absolutely love having you in the community. Thank you to those of you that have already registered your free place at this workshop. I'm so excited. I can't wait to coach you. And for those of you that are sitting on the fence or who haven't registered your place just yet, I want to coach you. I want to coach you, and I want you to see how much you improve in that workshop, because you're going to come in at a certain level and you're going to leave at a much higher level with your performances, and it is so exciting to experience. So I'll see you in the workshop. I've absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you found this episode inspiring. If you have, please do rate the podcast and hit follow so you never miss an episode, and I can help more actors like you. And come and join one of the most supportive, uplifting acting communities on socials, the Unstoppable Actors Facebook group, where you'll get your weekly injection of inspiration, networking, and receive your free Method Actors handbook so you can become an unstoppable actor.